Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking the new 6 Plus V3 RAYLEIGH back into some PvP, but this time, showcasing him on the Slasher team. Now, Slashers, they've been my favorite team for God knows how long. Like, they just always find a way back into the meta, and they always find a way to impress me, and I always have a lot of fun running them. So, showcasing RAYLEIGH over here was a pretty fun time. And with the release of the PvP update, where PvP Legends are now 20 cost, we actually have access to a bunch of other characters that work exceptionally well on this team. So we're going to start off with the 6-man build, and then we'll move into the 8-man build at the back half of this video. But RAYLEIGH sort of just finds a way on the team very, very nicely. You can do some fun stuff with Psy Slashes as well if you want to. I did try something with like a Psy build. I just found it too wonky. A little bit too weird. Psy is not exactly my favorite team to use in regular PvP as well. They always have a tendency to like pop off when I'm bursting them, but like suck when I'm using them. So you can do some stuff. There's a lot of Psy Slashes now. RAYLEIGH's buff of turning from fighter to slasher allows him to be used alongside stuff like Wiping and Roger, regular 6 Plus Roger, Psy Odin, Momo. You can do stuff with Psy Shanks, the anniversary exclusive, because he's a cerebral character. Hell, you can even put him next to Gear 5 because he's a fighter. But looking at the 6-man slasher team, you have a lot of power here. Roger and Whitebeard are actually buffing RAYLEIGH as a Psy unit as well, so that's always a really, really nice touch. But what RAYLEIGH's bringing to the team is a level 8 attack buff, level 3 defense, and level 3 HP, I believe, with his level limit break. Now, this is actually pretty good, because getting that extra HP for Slashes allows you to tank something like that Luffy shot, but stereotypically, Slashes like to go all out very, very fast. Running stuff like Zoro Sanji, running stuff like K-Dad and Odin and stuff like that is very, very good. But whilst RAYLEIGH does bring stuff to the team, I do find that there's probably a lot of other very, very good Slashers that you're probably going to use before him. He does fall into that echelons of the 6 Plus Slashers that all work exceptionally well as options for the team, but probably aren't the best running unit for the actual build itself. Now, RAYLEIGH's not a bad unit by all means. The buffs he got are incredible. The regular play buffs, the PvP buffs, he's a fantastic 6 Plus, and I'm very excited with what they're doing with 6 Plus, not only Kaido but himself for 2024, but I feel as if he's more of a product of the fact he's going on a very, very good team. When you put him alongside these particular anniversary exclusives and these Super Sugo characters, he's always going to shine. He does bring a lot to the table, but just when you are comparing him to sort of like what Roger and Whitebeard's doing for the Slash team, what Zoro and Sanji's doing for the Slasher team, even what like Kinemon, Dendro, and K-Dad are doing, he is towards the back end. But looking at 6 Plus Slasher characters, you have Cracker, you have CatDog, you have Bardo Cavendish, you have Shanks Crew, and then you have some other really, really good Legend releases of the past sort of 12 months that can work on the Slasher team as well. You have Shanks Buggy, who's an exceptional Slasher unit. You can even run regular Roger if you're missing Roger and Whitebeard. But if you guys are missing some of these Super Sugo characters or these anniversary exclusive units, RAYLEIGH you might find some success with RAYLEIGH on these particular teams. Now, RAYLEIGH brings not only a level 6 attack buff to Slashes, a level 3 defense, and a level 3 HP buff, but he also brings a little bit of nerfing, a little bit of buffing, and fixed damage. Now, fixed damage is actually really nice for the Slasher team, because they already have a lot of really good damage output, plus they have a lot of HP cutters. So with Roger Whitebeard and their 30% HP cut, then you have the fixed damage of Odin and the damage that Odin's doing. Then you have Kinemon, Dendro, or K-Dad that is just hitting really hard too. The 2000 fixed damage that RAYLEIGH hits to all enemies, by the way, it's not one enemy, it's all enemies, is actually really, really nice. Very similar to what, is it, I want to say it's what Odin's doing with the 2500, but I think Roger does 2,500 fixed damage as well, or Law, Wano Law. Can't remember exactly which one off the top of my head I'm thinking of, but having 2,000 fixed damage on a Slash team is actually very, very valuable. Not only that, but he lowers defense by level 6 to 3 enemies with the highest HP, which means that K-Dad can hit a lot harder. Not only K-Dad, but Odin can hit a lot harder. Roger Whitebeard doesn't really need the defense drop help because they're going through defense anyway with their 2-shot. And having haste of Zoro and Sanji is very, very valuable as well. Having the PvP legend buff, we can just run like Kawamatsu on the bench. Hell, you can run Smoothie if you really want to, or Raizo, Shinobu. Like any PvP slash is going to work exceptionally well. But the Slasher team, it just keeps getting better and better with more and more buffs, and RAYLEIGH's no exception to that. Being a legend, however, it does mean that he is taking up a 55 cost slot, but like I said, with the PvP buffs, you can actually run the 8-man slasher team very, very efficiently and very, very effectively. Stuff like Raizo, Shinobu, and Kawamatsu are both exceptional units to put on a slasher team, because Odin's actually buffing strength, and Rayleigh's a Psy unit, so you can do some fun stuff, like I said earlier, with Psy slashers. Again, you've got Kawamatsu, you've got Wano Law, who didn't talk about. You've got the PvP Rare Recruit Law now. Smoothie's also a slasher. Kaban's a slasher. I believe Strusen is a slasher too. So you have a lot of characters that you can choose from if you are trying to build out those Psy slasher teams. But a character that I really love using is Raizo and Shinobu. And the fact that they're a shooter slasher means you can actually put them in the front, allow them to actually take damage, and they are going to be giving a defensive buff to the entire team. Not only that, but they are buffing themselves with their passive. With their special, they give level 5 CD up every single time they use their special for a certain amount of seconds. But not only that, but they provide a pretty much 100% chance to action bind within a medium or to a large range against the enemy. Plus, they do 2,000 damage 5 times, and if you're hitting dex units, this is a 30% increase, so you're doing 2,600 fixed damage to one unit every single time. And that's a lot of damage coming their way. On top of that, that action bind can absolutely screw units and allows you to just bink off a bunch of characters, use that fixed damage of Rayleigh to just sort of take care of the opposition lineup, lower the defense, have K-Dad come in as the last hitter, and actually sort of clean house. Then when you're sort of waiting for your next round of specials, you've already taken apart the opposition team, and unless they have such a deep bench that gives them some sort of benefit, like stereotypically, you're going to be in for a really, really good time. On top of that, Raizo Shinobu's on such a low cooldown that you can see their special once again. They can do something like action bind the entire team. Like, not actually, but like they can close to. And then basically you just let your specials charge and you're in for a good time. Now, obviously this is RNG based. You go up against stuff like Nami, Karina, and all those other really annoying characters that roll back your specials, etc. You start playing with RNG a little bit too much, and it can definitely burn you. But with the amount of power that you have around something like Raizo Shinobu, and now with the bulk that Rayleigh's providing, it actually works really, really nicely. So for myself, I feel like Rayleigh works best on the slasher team. However, there's just a bunch of other units that I can think of that I would stereotypically like to run more. Slashers are always sort of built up around trying to do a lot of speedy stuff. So using stuff like Zoro and Sanji is a really good option for their haste. You can use stuff like Cracker or Kizaru for the cooldown reductions and all that sort of fun stuff. But in saying that, with that extra buff that Roger Whitebeard's giving to Rayleigh, it is actually quite nice to slide something like K-Dad to the side. And that way you can sort of protect your damage dealers just a little bit more. Rayleigh's a fantastic character. He got such a good buff. But again, I feel like majority of his power comes from the fact that he's now become a slasher, and he now slides in on these very, very powerful teams and has a lot of very good characters around him to actually showcase how powerful his specials are. He's not exactly a character that is going to carry a team, but he's a character that's going to find a way on the team, do a really solid job, and be a great option for a lot of players, which I'm a huge fan of. Now, obviously, these 6+s do become very, very hard to attain if you do miss the Kazuna that they came on. Especially if you're a new player and you're stuck in that Kazuna jail. Like, man, Raizo Shinobu is so good. If you're stuck in that Kazuna jail and you miss out on something like this 6+, then look, it's just a product of bad timing. But in saying that, this unit, being now a cerebral fighter and a slasher booster, is going to find a home on a lot of different PvP teams and find a home on a lot of regular play teams as well. But let me know your thoughts and opinions of Rayleigh on the slasher team down below. While you're down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.